Hello and welcome to the Granstrom Podcast Super Soul Model Series, where I help people tune and tap into their natural state of well-being. In this episode, I'm going to share with you what not to do to enjoy a life of great happiness, health, and well-being. In this episode, what I'm going to share with you is kind of like the reverse engineered way to help you enjoy a life of great health and well-being. These are all the sort of things that I used to do that I managed to flip on its head, because when you know what not to do, then at least there's signposts or red flags to just help you, show you on your way where to begin to make adjustments. Because if you don't have your health and if you don't have a good state of well-being, you can't enjoy life. And enjoying life is your primary motive for being here. And enjoying having a good feeling body is going to be absolutely paramount for you to be able to do that. Because when all is said and done, if you don't have your health and you don't have a good state of well-being, the person that suffers is you, because you're low on energy. And if you're low on energy, you can't enjoy yourself. And that is what I'm here to try and help you do. I'm trying to help you to tap into a natural state of well-being which exists within you. But there's certain things you need to have in place, which I'm going to share with you in this episode so you can get there. So I've got a list that I've compiled of all the things of what not to do so that you can become aware and start doing the exact opposite. So without further ado, let's begin. Number one, the first thing that I recommend what not to do to enjoy greater health and well-being is don't rush into your day. Before you get going, before you wake up, as soon as those sheets are off, are you rushing to get your clothes on, get out the door and go to work or whatever you're doing? Because if you're rushing straight into action, what happens is you are not tuning in to this energy that is present first thing in the morning. Because when you wake up, you're in a theta brainwave pattern, and that is a beautiful time to begin to spend and cultivate time with yourself. And if you're rushing into the day, you're not using that time or that window of opportunity to help you focus, to help you tune into your source energy, to help you tune into your wants, goals and desires and dreams, or into a state of gratitude and appreciation. That is a window of time that's golden for you. And it happens just before bed, but especially when you wake up. And if you're just rushing into your day, anxious to get going, what happens is you're missing that window of opportunity. And in that time, if you're rushing into your day without acknowledging or thinking or appreciating or embracing someone that you care about, you're missing a vital part of well-being. And a vital part of well-being is our connection, not only to ourselves and source energy, but other people as well. Because you are more than just a blob of skin, flesh and blood. You have a heart, you have a soul. And your real purpose here is also for connecting with others. So the people that you care about, are you acknowledging them? Are you appreciating them in some kind of way? Or if they're not even with you, are you appreciating them, and do you have them in your heart and mind when you first wake up to say thank you for that person? Because that is paramount to help you start your day. Number two, creating poor sleeping habits. If you have poor sleeping habits, this is a cause of a few things. And if you're doing things like staying up late at night, eating late at night, if you're watching TV or having screen time really late at night, then that's disturbing your brain waves. That's disturbing your sleeping patterns. And if you get poor sleep or your sleep is broken, it's because you're not hitting that deeper REM in the middle of the night for about an hour or so, sometimes first thing in the morning. And that can cause you to wake up, cause you to feel groggy, cause you to have brain fog. It can cause you to make poor food choices. Anytime that you feel a lack of sleep and a lack of recharge and replenishment, it's no good for you. So getting some good sleep is paramount for you to be able to enjoy a greater state of health and vitality and well-being. Number three, complaining or moaning. Anytime you complain or moan, you are reacting to what you're observing. You're reacting to life. And every time you're reacting to life, what you're actually doing is not accepting it. Now, sometimes you need to adjust what's happening in front of you, but if you've got an attitude of complaint, or if you've got an attitude of moaning, what you're doing is you're creating more resistance inside of your body and in your heart. It's almost as if your heart shuts down when you complain. And when you notice or catch yourself complaining, you've got to stop and start looking for things to appreciate, because complaint will get you into creating a lack of well-being. It will reduce your immune system. It will also allow you not to see the beauty and the magic that's all surrounding us. And it will beget more things to complain about, because whatever you complain, you'll get more of. And whatever you appreciate, you'll get more things to appreciate. So don't be someone who complains. Look to try and be someone who appreciates, because otherwise you'll be stuck in those patterns over and over again, and you'll be going, well, life, there's more things to complain about. I've got this problem, this problem, and this problem. There will always be problems, but if you're looking to complain about every single problem, then what's going to happen is you're going to get more things to complain about. So where attention goes, energy flows. And if you're focusing your energy on things of complaint, then the universe is going to give you more things to complain about. So be mindful of what you're complaining, and catch yourself if you find yourself complaining, and start looking for positive aspects. Start looking for things to appreciate, and you'll begin to end that cycle. Number 4, not giving yourself the time to reflect each day. Maybe it's in prayer, for sure, meditation. I'm a huge ambassador for meditation. Or perhaps it's just spending time in quiet, because each time you give yourself an opportunity to pause, reflect, and allow the silence of the beginning of the new day to be an opportunity for you to just free your mind before you get going into action, what happens is you create more cortisol in your body, and your body gets addicted to stress. Your body gets addicted to the cortisol. And each time that you're giving yourself time to pause, maybe it's just mini breaks here and there throughout the day, 1-2 minutes here and there. But if you can start adding that morning routine, that pause before you jump into action. Maybe you've got kids and maybe the house is awake at like 5 o'clock in the morning because one of the babies is crying. Sure, but can you go and pause after that? Because each time you can give yourself a moment of pause, what you're doing is you're tuning into your own personal energy and recharging your battery. So taking time to pause each day for 1 or 2 moments is absolutely incredible to help you enjoy a great state of well-being. And the people that have bad health and bad well-being don't do that. They don't pause a lot. They only pause when they need to, rather than create the time to pause. So be someone who creates that habit. Number 5, what you're drinking is really important. So if you drink alcohol, if you drink caffeine, if you're drinking lots of sodas and fizzy drinks and not lots of water, what happens is your body and your organs, such as your kidneys and your liver, are going to be really suffering, and it can even cause heart disease in time as well. So if you want to have a long life, you've got to kind of begin to omit those things, or at least have them under control. Because if you're drinking a lot, you're going to cause heart disease and definitely hurt your liver. That's what happened to my father. He drank a lot and he had liver deterioration, and then that caused problems with his lungs in time. Now, I'm not saying what people do is right or wrong. I'm just trying to share with you the ideas of what will really help you to enjoy a greater life of longevity and well-being. Because remember, like I said, if you're not taking care of your body and you're not taking care of your mind and you're not taking care of your soul, what's going to happen is the vessel that you hold, which is this body that you move around in every single moment, that you're fully aware of, begins to break down. And your body is meant to thrive. And if you're not taking care of yourself because you're doing the wrong things, what's going to happen is you're going to suffer, maybe not now, but definitely later. And that was the case with my father, which is why I'm so passionate about wanting to share this, because when you feel pain, you really want to help other people heal. And this is what this podcast is all about, is to help you heal so that you can learn the skills, tools, and things that can help you enjoy a greater life of happiness, health, vitality, well-being. So if you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking sodas, you're drinking lots of caffeine, that's causing lots of spikes in your blood and causing spikes in your insulin levels, which means you're going to get a high, but you're also going to get a low, which means there's no balance. So the best way to combat that is to begin to have different drinks. You want to be drinking a lot more water. And if you're finding water very boring to drink, because as you age, you don't necessarily enjoy the taste of water as much, start putting things like lemon and ginger in your water, or add fruits, because you need to be getting at least 7.5 to 9 glasses of water in you a day, and perhaps even more if you're exercising, to be able to find a balance in the pH levels of your body. And as soon as your pH levels are in balance and you've got more alkali, your body begins to thrive because it's in balance. And as your body begins to thrive, your mind becomes clearer. So that there's a direct correlation between what you're drinking and what you're eating and what you're ingesting and everything that you're doing in your environment, whether it's going to bring you into balance or it's going to pull you out of balance, which causes more stress. Which leads me into number 6, which is food. If you're eating things which is processed or only man-made, what's going to happen is that means that your body's going to deteriorate in alkalinity, and your body's going to want to have more of those acidic foods. And what you want is more plant-based foods, more things like fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds. When you're choosing any type of food, ask yourself, is this food optimal for my body? And the telltale signs are, has it been made by nature? And if it hasn't been made by nature, then the answer is, you know what you're ingesting. And the best thing you need to do is give yourself this little ratio, which I have been doing for years, which is 80% really good, 20% whatever I want. And if I'm doing 80% really, really good, my body's going to be able to manage that other 20%, because you're not always going to be perfect. I was a strict vegan, absolutely hardcore vegan with everything for about a year, and it was so difficult. And whilst I did it, I realized there was no balance, and I realized I was feeling a lack of joy and a lack of community with regards to food and sitting around with other people because I was so strict. Now, I do believe in being disciplined, but I also do believe in living life and enjoying it. So you've got to ask yourself that question, because your food plays such a big part in health and well-being. If you're eating processed foods, then you know that you need to switch and beginning to eat more plant-based foods, because it's made by plants or it's been made by nature. Then you know it's going to be helpful for you. And remember, when you're stressed, you always choose foods that are bad for you because they're on a lower frequency. So I dare you, next time, should you feel stressed and you're hungry, don't reach for the bag of crisps or the bag of chips or the sweets or the chocolates. Reach for something that is natural, like an apple. And notice how much better you feel because you made that choice. You've got to interrupt the patterns. You've got to interrupt the patterns that cause the stress in the first place. And what causes the stress in the first place is the acidity inside of your body and the acidity inside of your mind, meaning your negative thinking. Number 7, personal hygiene. You need to make sure that what you're putting on your skin, which is your largest organism, and it repairs itself if you're under 50, roughly every 30 days, about 27 days. And over 50, it can go up to about 84 days that it regrows and replenishes itself. So you've got lots of leeway to begin to help clean the insides of your skin and the outsides of your skin. And you've got to be mindful about what you're putting on your skin, because if you're putting parabens and sulfates on top of your skin and you're using detergent that isn't great for your skin because they've also got sulfates and they've also got parabens, that's going to cause pollution and toxicity inside of you because your skin is absorbing everything. So personal hygiene is a really important thing. So I'm all about making sure you've got non-sulfate and paraben-free washing products. Big thing. As non-fluoride toothpaste as well. These are really important. So just be mindful about your personal hygiene. You always want to be thinking this, always be cleaning, whether it be your thoughts and what you're putting inside of your body or your home. And the next thing I'm going to be leading on to is your environment. Your environment needs to be clean for your health and well-being. And lots of people that don't realize it, who are overweight, have very cluttered homes. And if your home is extremely cluttered, that means that your mind is very cluttered, means that there's loads of junk going on in your mind. And as soon as you begin to declutter and simplify your home and simplify your environment, maybe it's making sure that it's got a fresh coat of paint on the inside if you can. Maybe it's definitely tidying up once a week and taking things to the charity shop. Each time you're decluttering your home, you're simplifying your environment, you become lighter. You have less baggage, and then that transfers to the body and the mind, which means you have less emotional baggage. I love this little idea that the Zen masters do in Japan. I spent like 2 years in Japan, and they've got beautiful, clean, organized, smooth, clutter-free environments. And it's all because that their mind can be free to receive ideas from spirit. It can receive ideas from the great spirit. And we're exactly the same. Now, we live in a modern world. We may not be living in a Zen monastery, but you can create an environment that's peaceful, that's simple, that's beautiful to look at, and that's uncluttered. And if you're doing that, that allows your mind to have free space. Just even think about what Steve Jobs has achieved when he was at Apple and when he was alive. There was a whole book that was created based on the Zen of Apple, and that was Steve Jobs living in an empty apartment. So it was clutter free so that his mind could receive ideas. And that's when he went to go and create the iMac and the iPod, and the rest is history. Keep your environment clean and simplify your environment. And what we'll notice is you'll enjoy greater health and well-being. Number 9, who you hang around is so important. And if you're hanging around negative people, don't expect your energy to get any higher, because that will disconnect you from your own natural high, from your own source energy. Because negativity is like a magnet, and so is positivity. So if you're hanging around negative people, you've got to stop that, and you've got to interrupt that pattern, and maybe take a detox and some time out from those friends. Because if you don't care about your health and you care more about being part of the gang, what that means is you're not honoring yourself and you're not honoring your health and well-being. It's so important that you begin to hang around people that are going places, that hanging around people that are positive and optimistic, because like attracts like. And so be mindful of who you're hanging around. And if there's no one positive hanging around, just immerse yourself in books and podcasts such as these, because that is going to bring you up. Positivity attracts more positivity. And if you want greater health, you need greater positivity in your life. And you only need 51% of your day to be positive for you to actually begin to see things shift. And a lot of people are positive and negative. We all find ourselves slipping, but you've just got to practice it. And one of the best ways to practice it, and the easiest way, is to be surrounded by people who are positive and be mindful of who you surround yourself with. Number 10, if you're not communing with nature, what happens is you begin to live in your head. And when you live in your head, you get wired and you're not living in your heart. And if you're not communing with nature, meaning you're not spending time in the park regularly, or just walking in the local rose garden wherever you live, going to the beach or hanging out in forests, just 5 minutes a day can make such a big impact, because it reduces cortisol, it soothes your system. Nature has a natural alpha brainwave pattern, and if you're communing with nature and spending time with it, which is your natural thing to do, our ancestors used to spend all their time in nature. And now we are living in the modern world where most people spend a lot of time living in cities, and a lot of people in cities are disconnected because they're not communing with nature. They're not having direct connection with nature every day. And so you've got to be beginning to be putting this into your daily life, spending time in nature, gazing at trees, gazing at flowers, gazing at the sky, gazing at the stars, just getting your hands in the earth, being in the water. Each time you do that, you're going to feel that the earth is speaking to you, and subtly, in subtle ways. And in that, there becomes a magic. There becomes a relationship between you and the world you live in. And you just happen to be put in the right place at the right time to see a beautiful sunrise or a beautiful sunset, watch a flock of birds fly in unison and see something magical. That is nature talking to you. Nature talks to you. And you just got to be open to listen. And you're only going to be open to listen if you can spend time in it every single day. That is so important for your health and well-being. Number 11, not moving your body, not exercising your body. If you're not doing that, don't expect to enjoy great health and well-being. It's very simple. All you need to do is move your body every day. Some people cannot move their body, but what can you do? What can you do to move your body? Can you exercise? Can you stretch? Can you go for a walk? And if you can answer any of those simple questions, then go out and do it, because there's so many studies that show that moving your body decreases stress, increases a state of mental clarity, decreases anxiety, and increases a state of positivity. And that was one of the things that really helped me when I was depressed. I was depressed for about a year. I was in an insomniac for about a year. And it was only when I got out running and I started going to the gym properly that things began to shift. And I realized I felt more in control of life because I was moving my body, I was breathing more deeply. I was out in nature, running through forest and things like that, or out on a bicycle. And it just made me feel alive. And that means also I was sleeping better at night. But if you're not exercising your body, you're going to have poor sleeping patterns. And also, with poor sleeping patterns, you also choose bad foods. And so this negative cycle and loop of lunacy just continues and you can get stuck in it. So moving your body, exercise and stretching every single day for as little as 10 minutes can make such a profound impact. Like I've had days when I've only been able to exercise for 7 minutes, but I do a HIIT workout in 7 minutes because I've had to be on the road or travel or be on an airplane or whatever. And so give yourself time each day to make sure that you invest in yourself and invest in moving in your body, and get outside every day and get some fresh air. That's imperative for you to be able to bring new life into you, because when you get some fresh air into you, you always feel much better. Number 12, your thoughts and your words. How you speak to yourself and your self-talk and how you speak to others, it will literally shape your life. And I used to have like this negative self-talk, and it just caused me feeling depressed. It caused me feeling anxious. And it's only when I began to change my self-talk that I noticed that I became stronger. I became more confident. And that took a little time. But the thoughts that you've got to be thinking to yourself is, it's okay, it's all right, it's going to be okay, things are going to come together, things are working out, I'm doing pretty well, I can do this, it's going to work out, it's coming together. These are the types of conversations and chats that you need to have with yourself if you're feeling, less than good. And also the conversations that you have with others, speak of yourself in a positive term, because anytime you're speaking of yourself negatively, even if it seems funny, what you're actually doing is berating yourself. You're cutting yourself off from your natural source. You're cutting yourself off or disconnecting yourself momentarily from a natural state of well-being, because the subconscious is always listening. Whatever you're saying, your subconscious is always picking it up. So you've got to be mindful about what you're talking. Talk to yourself optimistically. Talk to others optimistically. Even if there's nothing optimistic to be about, you've got to practice talking about things optimistically. Now that takes time, it takes skill, just like working a muscle, but it will be so empowering for you and will help you tune to these higher levels of health, happiness, and well-being. Because a negative mindset and negative self-talk, well, you know where that's going to go. That's going to keep you stuck forever. And the only way that's ever going to change is when you change and you start thinking different thoughts. And one of the best thoughts you can think of is, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And this is sometimes all the things that people need to hear. So if you're having a tough time right now, I'm here to share with you that it's going to be okay and it's going to be all right. And this will all pass, and eventually things will come together and there'll be something new to focus on and something new to get excited about, because life is always changing, but it will only change to what you keep giving your thought to. So if you start thinking fresh, new thoughts, you're only going to get more of what you've already got. So start thinking fresh, start talking optimistically in the direction of your dreams, start talking to others optimistically about what you're doing and what's working out for you, and omit what isn't working for you. Because if you keep talking about what isn't working for you, the universe will give you more of that too. And this is a bonus of be mindful about what you're thinking and your self-talk and how you talk to others. Your thoughts and words can either help other people heal and help yourself heal, or they can maim. And I choose to be someone who helps people heal, help people enjoy greater health, help people feel more empowered. Because any unkind word or any scathing remark or criticism of somebody to either yourself or another people is maiming them and can take the feet right underneath somebody. So be someone who chooses to help other people heal. Be the messenger of healing. Be the example of somebody who is willing to practice becoming more optimistic, because it's not only a powerful frequency to begin to practice, but it will change your life in the process when you look to be kind to other people, look to empower other people, look to share optimism and happiness, because that's where well-being resides. It doesn't reside on scathing criticism or enduring negativity. What you need to do is be practicing what you want to have more of in your world. And you can only do that when you be mindful of your thoughts and on your words. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it's brought you some insight about what not to do. Like I said, everything I've shared, I used to be one of these types of people, and it took years before I managed to turn it all around. But I've managed to share with you some really powerful insights here that I managed to do, that hopefully that you can take away and start implementing straight away. Because if you've done it, only doing a few of these things that are causing a bit of stress and strain on you, then that's amazing. Because what's really important is that you begin to awaken and become aware of what's holding you back, so you can allow yourself to thrive and flourish and move forward. Life is all about helping each other, because life is not just about you, it's about all the people in your environment and in your family and in your world. And if you can be a conduit or a light and a shining example of someone who's choosing to be more optimistic, choosing to be positive, choosing to be kinder to themselves, choosing to eat better, choosing to have better habits in their life, you're going to notice you're not only going to have great health, you're going to have great well-being, and life will you'll just attract from life and from the universe the most amazing life. And then you'll be living your best life, because what's happening is you're always attracting, and you're attracting based on your frequency levels, based on your energetic levels. And when your energetic levels are low, your magnet's down, or you're only attracting things of that lower frequency. And the better you feel and the happier you are and the more joy you're feeling, the more you'll magnetize into you those beautiful things that you've always been wanting, because they all exist on a higher level. And your health and your body and your mind is like a beautiful temple. Keep it clean, cherish it, look after it, have fun, enjoy it. You're going to enjoy phenomenal vitality, phenomenal life force energy, and you'll be magnetizing into you the most amazing things. If you've enjoyed anything from today's show, please give me a DM, write to me on Instagram. Love hearing your stories. Find me at jamesgranstrom.com. Write to me. I love hearing your stories. Love hearing what has uplifted you or inspired you along your way. You know, the stories I get from you guys is amazing, and I could not do this show without you. And this week marks the 3rd-year anniversary of the show. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you guys who listen and watch this show regularly. I so appreciate you. You make this show possible. So until the next episode, I want to say thank you. Have a wonderful week, and I wish you green lights all the way.